So this article is from verdict.co.uk. Coronavirus digital health passport to be supplied to 15 countries. Manchester-based cybersecurity firm VST Enterprises has signed a deal with digital health company Circle Pass Enterprises to create a digital health passport designed to make it easier for individuals to safely return to work after the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic. So it turns out people have to be able to prove their immunity from a virus that is no more fatal than a seasonal flu. It's almost like the point of this crisis was to use the virus as an excuse to bring about a population control grid for mass surveillance or something. The two companies have partnered to create the world's most secure digital health passport, known as CoviPass, and according to VST Enterprises, are committed to working with governments and major stakeholders to deploy the technology. CPE will ship the digital health passports to 15 countries around the world, including Italy, Portugal, France, Panama, India, the US, Canada, Sweden, Spain, South Africa, Mexico, United Arab Emirates, and the Netherlands, with the goal of supplying 50 million digital health passports. The first passports will begin shipping from next week. VST Enterprises VCode and vPlatform technologies will be integrated into the CoviPass to ensure it is secure. So let's go to the website, which is v-healthpassport.co.uk. Introducing vHealth, the people's passport. Well, I already have a passport, and I use it to travel abroad. But apparently now I might need a health passport in the future just to get around and do regular life stuff. In China, this kind of system has already been in play now for a few weeks due to this virus.
In Hangzhou, to enter a tower block, you need to have your temperature taken and registered. And you must have an app on your phone into which you input your name, temperature, recent travel and ID number. The information generates a color code.
In Hangzhou, to go out of the community or to public activities, you need to have a green code. This green, yellow or red code is automatically decided through the system. It uses big data to decide whether you've been to affected districts or come into contact with those people.
But what if you're well and get a red code anyway? This man says he self-isolated while visiting Anhui province near Wuhan and back home in Shanghai. But there's no way to challenge the technology.
Our office building here, you need to register. You need to show the code to demonstrate that you're healthy. So when I was red, there was no way I could go to the office and work. I didn't do anything. Then after 2 or 3 days, I looked and suddenly it was green. I don't know why, but I think that although it's not really reasonable, it is still a preventative measure.
VST Enterprises Limited, the UK-based cybersecurity firm, have developed a digital health passport, a platform, vHealth Passport, from their revolutionary vCode and vPlatform technology. vHealth, powered by vCode, not only helps rapidly speed up the process of getting key critical care workers within blue light emergency services returning to the front line, but also ensure that they do so safely and securely. A key worker can present their assigned vCode using their smartphone, fob, or lanyard printout, which can be scanned outside of the 2-meter safe distancing zone. This can present in-depth information to any healthcare official blue light service or a high-level GDPR-compliant screen to members of the public to confirm and authenticate their current health status visualized by a traffic light system, green, amber and red. Other uses of the vHealth Passport are private companies, airlines, hotel chains, and sports and leisure organizations that need a return-to-work passport for their employees and guests. So that's a lot of people who will need this digital passport system to do almost anything, it seems. It's just incredible that this is proceeding anyway, given how easy it is to investigate the truth about this virus from alternative news sources outside of the mainstream and discover that the data modeling behind the lockdown was nonsense. The death certificates are being manipulated, content about viable treatments is being censored on social media or flagged as misinformation, and recent studies have shown that the fatality rate is between 0.1 and 0.3%, and yet plans for more Big Brother control of the populace continues at pace nonetheless. If the population at large doesn't wake up soon and reject these unnecessary and draconian digital ID systems, they will become the new norm and our lives will never be free again. VSTE are currently using the underlying technology, vCode and vPlatform, as part of their contracted work with the United Nations as part of their SDG Collaboratory Sustainable Development Goals program to provide a wide range of technology services to 9 billion people by 2030. And there you have it, the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, which is basically Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, which I've discussed in my BitChute exclusive video recently called The Emerging Prison Planet. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Anyone familiar with the topic of Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, will know that it's about bringing about mass surveillance, ending privacy, collective rights over individual rights, control of food production, control of energy and the environment, social credit system and smart cities, a cashless society, new world order, one world government, universal basic income, and what is effectively global communism. VST Enterprises are collaborating with numerous accredited test providers to add a vCode to each individual test to provide its authenticity when entering the passport system. After a healthcare professional has activated and administered a test kit, they can validate whether the digital passport holder has tested negative or positive for a coronavirus or has the antibodies present. For this, the health professional updates the passport holder's status instantly without changing the vCode. And we're supposed to just trust the tests, of course. And of course, all of this inconvenience and hassle of these checks when you go out in public, it sounds about as tolerable as modern airport security. In future updates, the health passport will include confirmation that they are vaccinated and can contain all information of other vaccinations and make part of a much broader health passport. You know, I'm getting a strong sense of déjà vu here. Where have I heard this kind of thing before?
Eventually, what we'll have to have is certificates of who's a recovered person, who's a vaccinated person, because you don't want people moving around the world. So eventually there will be sort of this digital immunity proof that will help facilitate the global reopening up. There's a lot of dialogue between our foundation experts and the government now, but what does opening up look like? Which activities like schools, have such benefit and can be done in a way that the risk of transmission is very low?
Yeah.
And which activities, like mass gatherings, may be, in a certain sense, more optional. And so until you're widely vaccinated, those may not come back at all.
And remember, in his AMA, 31 questions and answers about COVID-19, Bill Gates was asked the following: what changes are we going to have to make to how businesses operate to maintain our economy while providing social distancing? And he said, the question of which businesses should keep going is tricky. Certainly food supply and the health system, we still need water, electricity and the internet. Supply chains for critical things need to be maintained. Countries are still figuring out what to keep running. Eventually, we will have some digital certificates to show who has recovered or been tested recently, or when we have a vaccine, who has received it. Anyway, back to vHealth Passport. 5 steps to passport creation. The vHealth Passport is a simple-to-use ID system that can display various health status about the passport holder. Once the public user has registered their details via the vHealth Passport portal or mobile phone application, they can request an appointment with their GP surgery or healthcare administrator. The administrator can quickly locate the patient details and then apply a test or vaccine to the passport in 5 easy steps. Information security distribution. The vHealth Passport information is routed using vCode, a revolutionary unique tag identifier created by VST Enterprises. The VP platform allows the vHealth Passport to display different information to the scanning user based on their platform permissions. Admin View gives a more in-depth view of the user's passport. Public View shows a GDPR-compliant version. Managing passports via the admin panel. The platform administrator can see the status of and manage the passports they have assigned. Green, negative. Amber, approaching passport expiry date. Red, pass expired. Positive status would also show red, and blue, pass pending results. Now, there's another section of their website that I want to take a quick look at. And if I click on this vCode, it brings me to vcode.it. Now, one of the applications of vCode is digital payments. So you can buy things with Vcode. So it says Vcode is a secure digital method of payment that allows you to interact with and purchase a product from your surroundings within 6 seconds. The digital wallet also allows you to store all membership cards, purchase information and tickets within your own personal Vcode, store loyalty, bank cards, and much more in your own Vcode. Assign any form of information to your own Vcode securely. Your Vcode can store anything from identity details in case of emergency information, health records, payment methods, car registration numbers, business card details, social media links, and much more, all from the same code. Sensitive information can only be read by those with permission. As I've said many times, I'm against the idea of moving to digital wallets and cashless transactions, given that there's no record of a cash transaction, but there is a record of a digital cashless transaction. And that's where my concern is, because if it can be recorded, then theoretically it can be traced. I simply don't trust the promises of companies that tell me how super secure their system is. I would be too concerned that someone would be able to see my transactions. I want to continue to use cash because cash is freedom and I don't have to worry about my privacy. I don't want to sacrifice my privacy and freedom for the convenience and ease of use of a digital payment system. Call me cynical, but I just don't trust talk about protecting consumer privacy rights, especially when we now live in a time when this manufactured crisis has permitted governments to take away all of our rights and freedoms to the point where they can determine how far we can travel from our homes, how many people can be in our homes, and they've taken away our right to freely assemble in public in groups of more than 2 people. They've also forced certain businesses to shut down, and they've placed demands on private companies to now employ social distancing policies. So, if all of our other rights can be compromised in this way, then why should I believe that our right to privacy will always be protected? Now, to get more into the subject of digital payments, well, in a cashless society, the flow of capital can be tracked and even theoretically stopped if an authoritarian government demanded it. They couldn't do that with cash. So, hypothetically, in a social credit system type situation, an authoritarian regime could place a halt on a political dissenter's ability to make a purchase for a certain period. The person could be frozen out of the economy if their social credit score goes too low. I'll give you an example of this from China. This is from 2018. China's terrifying social credit system has already blocked 11 million from taking flights. China's terrifying social credit system, which is a rating assigned to each citizen based on government data regarding their economic and social status, has effectively blocked more than 11.14 million flights and 4.25 million high-speed train trips at the end of April, according to a senior government official. Government officials first announced the proposal for a social credit system in 2014, where each Chinese citizen would be rated according to their online, social, financial, and legal behavior. Misdeeds such as late credit card payments, criminal record, jaywalking, using fake IDs, refusal to sign up for required insurance, and failing to pay taxes could result in a travel ban for an extended period. The penalty for misdeeds went into full effect in May. Anyway, back to the idea of a cashless society. It is also possible that certain types of purchases could be stopped entirely. So a person could no longer be able to buy certain products, so they would have to make do with purchasing something else. For example, when it comes to certain types of grocery purchases, it would be easy enough to modify a person's diet or introduce some kind of food rationing by limiting their purchasing abilities. There could be restrictions placed on certain quantities or types of food and products that they may be permitted to buy in a store. Now, of course, I'm not saying that this is the motivation behind digital payments. I'm just saying that it's easy to see the potential for an authoritarian government to abuse such a system and the possibility that it could be used to control people. Thanks very much for watching this video. Be sure to comment below. Be sure to check out my BitChute channel for more exclusive content, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.